Welcome to Shom Machshava on the Daf. Shir sponsor Lui Nishvas, my grandfather, Rabbi Cheskel Reb Shalom Hartman Zatzal, whose yahrzeit is on Chai Kislev. We're holding in Zevachim Daf Pegimel, in the beginning of the 9th parak of the Masechto. The parak begins on Mizbeach Mekadesh Es Haroy Loi. The Mizbeach makes anything possible on it, makes it Kaddish. And how do we know that? The Mishnah brings the pasuk Hiya Oilo Al Moikdo. What does Hiya Oilo mean? Says Rashi, he be'avayosote, once it goes on moide, remains with his Kedusha. So Toldos asks Rashi that he is, as Masha from the Gemara, he's a mute. He comes to exclude something, not to say that it continues the Kedusha and to add more Kedusha. So therefore Toldos explains it in a different way. So the Baal told us Yaakov Yosef. He has a sefer called Ben Poiras Yosef. And there in Joshua Shabbos Agodo of the year Taf Kuf Chofei, he comes to answer Rashi. So he starts by bringing the Gemara in Nedarim, Daf Lamed Ches, that says, Omar B'Yochanan HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mashra Shchinosoi, HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not bring Nevuah, Ela Al Chacham, Gibor, Oshir, Ve'onov. And we learn from Moshe Rabbeinu. So he brings the Ran in the Droshes that asks, I understand that you have to be a Chacham, you have to be an Onov. But why does a Navi have to be Gibor v'Ashir? It has to be strong and rich to be a Navi. What's the shaykhs? So he explains, it's not that you have to be Gibor and Ashir to be a Navi. But it has to be someone who's such an Anav, he's so humble, that even though he's a Gibor, and even though he's a Ashir, and even though he has all these milas, he's still an Anav. That's the Anav. How do you define the Anav? Someone that has many different milas and he still is continuing to be an Anav. That's the Chiddush of the Anavah of Moshe Rabbeinu. And he goes on to explain that must be the pshat, because it says anybody who is a Baal Gaivo, the Nevuah leaves him. So Akarka, what he means is he's an Onav and he has everything else. He's an Onav and a Chacham, he's an Onav and a Ashir, he's an Onav and a Gibor. He means, and he mainly, what's the Yisoid? That with all these milas, he's still an Onav. So he mainly says that's the pshat. When you're talking about Oilo is Loshan Mailo. How does a Mailo retain? How does an item retain its Mailo? It retains his Milo only when you have a Anavah together with it. If you don't have a Anavah, so the Milo goes away. So he really says that's what it means. He is a mute, but he is also means that retains the Kedusha, because it goes together. How do you retain Kedusha? By having a Anavah, by having Shiflus. So Zostar is Oilo Loshan Milo. How do you retain the Milo? He retains it, even in Taram Psul. But how do you retain that? With a Anavah, he is a mute. In order to have a retention of a Milo, you must have a Anavah. So you have to have a combination of he. Al Yedei Anavah, which is he Loshen Miut. So you have he, which is a retention of the Kedusha. And that's the remez over here. How do you retain Kedusha? How do even things that are possible retain their milas that they have? They retain it only if you have Midas HaAnavah. And that's the Loshen of the Ben Peres Yosef. What is the Shanach Shavul Mayas Matonos? Meaning, if you have another. That's he means both. So Rashi and Toldos are right. He is also Loshen Miut, and that retains the Kedusha. A deep Vort by the Baal Toldos Yaakov Yosef. Anyone wants to join or sponsor the Shom Machshava Shiurim, please email shomachshava@gmail.com.